Hello, I'm Melinda Gormley, the Research Development Officer in the School of Biological Sciences at the University of California, Irvine. And today I want to talk about Dimensions, a team science development tool, and also a platform for discovering and accessing information about scientific research. So today's question that I'm going to answer is, what searches can I perform in Dimensions? It's a very basic overview of the content type that's available in Dimensions, the filters that are available, and then also the analytical views that you can access. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. This is Dimensions, the platform. Now, what you see across the top are the content types: publications, data sets, grants, patents, clinical trials, and policy documents. Now, going down the left column, you see filters is highlighted. There are several filters: publication year, researcher, research categories, publication type, etc. Now, right now, I am not logged in. And because I'm not logged in, I only have access to publications and data sets. I do not have access to grants, patents, clinical trials, or policy documents. None of those are live. And also, what I see over here in my filters is dependent on which view I am in. So I have different filters based on which of the content types that I am using. So I'm going to log in to Dimensions. And I'm logging into what is called the Plus account. There are different tiers, and you have more capabilities based on whichever tier you are in. The current view now, again, you still have publications and data sets, but I can now access grants as well. So what we're going to do here is I am going to do a couple of filters. So let's say that I am interested in publications for researchers who are part of the University of California, Irvine. So I am going to put in Irvine, and up jumps UCI. And I'm going to limit my search to UCI. Now, I have taken down the number of publications and grants to lower numbers just based on that one filter. Given that this is UCI Brain, I'm also going to go into research categories, fields of research, and I'm going to choose neurosciences. Of course, I could choose other topics, but for now, we'll just do one, neurosciences. And I'm going to limit to that. So now I've even reduced the publications and grants more. At this point, what I want to do is see what kinds of information I can learn. So I'm interested only in publications for the last 5 years. So I'm going to click on all publications from 2016 to present, 2020, and I'm going to limit it to that. So now I have 5 years of publications at UC Irvine in the neurosciences. It gives me a list of over 1,700 publications. And if I go into my analytical views about publications and I want to get an overview, I can see how many publications came out in any given year. The default is the past 10 years. However, because I chose 2016 to 2020 as my range, it's only going to show me publications for those days. I hover, I get to see information. Now, I can also look at this in a table view, so if I wanted to know the actual numbers, I have that possibility. In addition to the overview, I have researchers where it'll generate a number of names about publications, and here it's filtering based on the number of publications. So I'm really enjoying what I'm finding out about publications, but it turns out what I'm interested in right now are grants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to the grants tab, which I just did. And what you'll see is that now it's only showing me grants that started from 2016 to 2020. And I actually don't want to know that. So I'm going to click out of that, keeping UCI and neurosciences. And I actually want to know only about ongoing grants. So I'm going to limit to grants that are ongoing. That means active grants right now. So when I do that, what I end up seeing in my analytical views, if I go to the overview, is information about the number of grants that are active and starting. So the number of grants that are currently active that started in the early 2010s is actually quite low, right? We would expect that because some grants only last for 3 or 5 years. Again, I can see a table view if I want, or the chart view. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come up here and I decide I don't really care about the number of grants. I also care about funding amount. So I have now pushed on funding amount and I can see how much money in any given year that these ongoing grants have had. So now I'm going to actually say, you know what, I don't just want to know ongoing. I just want to know how UCI has done in the neurosciences over the past 10, 20 years. So the default view is the past 10 views. In the overview, I can see the funding amount per year. I can also look at the number of active and starting grants. This tells me that there's a lot of consistency at UC Irvine about the number of grants that have started per year. That's the green line at the lower line. And the number of total active grants in neurosciences in any given year. If I wanted to, I can extend that, go back further. So let's say I want to get a larger data set, then I can add more years and I get to see how this has changed over time. All right, well, that is dimensions sort of in a snapshot.